What's up, XC1 Gamerhead fans? It's your boy XC1 back at it again with another banger of a video. In this one, we're going to do an Inescapable Fate trial video, aka Sea of Knowledge. So let's jump into it. Basically, this is a wave clearing trial with predetermined trial equipment. So you can't use your own trial equipment. So basically what that means for me, and what it should mean for you, but at least for me, is that I want to pick my wave clearing Espers, Legendary or Epic, that have high Divinates, high Abilimon, and high Resonant level that you use a lot. For example, Gaius or Leora, if you have high resonances on them, or Mona is even usable, free to play. You can use Raven or Brewster, or even Zhuan Pen if you have her. Ashley's also good to use because the way her buff works at the start of combat. Also, you can use Liam for his assist on your wave clearing Espers, such as Brewster or Gaius God mode, sorry, I said Gaia, that is Sienna. So basically, once we're in here, you can select some Espers to come with you. We're not even going to touch this. Yude might be good if you don't have Feng Nushi and you see some Feng Nushi comps that you want to replicate. Yude can do that loosely because she does reset all cooldowns with their R6. Up here, we do have two good choices here. If you are dying a lot and you need a healer, you don't have a healer, Ahmed R2 is pretty good. Brewster R2 is pretty good because he starts at combat with the assist buffs that he has. So let's jump into these runes here. I'm going to say, unless you're just starting the game, like yesterday, you're not even going to touch these first runes here. Runestones, they are called. Elite Runestones. The first one, as soon as you enter the trial, I wouldn't even touch. Unless you're day one without any healers. These are just defense plus 25%. So what we're really looking at here is these ones over here. Allied Esper levels and Ascensions are maxed out during combat. So if you are new to the game and don't have level 60 everything, maybe your supports are level 50, you select this one. And then Allied Esper's ability levels are all maxed out during combat. So if you have a bunch of level 60s, let's say you farm Sonic Rift a lot because you want to burn through your stamina, and all your Espers are level 60, you would want to select this one right here. Allied Esper's ability levels are maxed during combat because, yeah, Abilimon are not that easy to come by, and this helps out a lot. So personally, for me, I selected the ability levels are maxed out during combat because I have a bunch of level 60 Espers, so that's not an issue for me. So this next one you want to pay attention to, and this basically just goes off of your own fruition here. So Wind attuned ally attack plus 25%, Flow attuned ally attack plus 25%. So let's say your only wave clearing Esper is JQ, you know, the white tiger guy that got buffed. Yeah, you don't have any other wave clearing Espers, not even a Gaius or Leora. You want to select Wind attuned. There's probably a couple more Espers. Let me look real quick. It would be good if you only had Camille or Ashley. I mean, even then, it's really not that good. Camille or Ashley or Nora could loosely be used. Maybe she doesn't do a bunch of damage. Tang Zhuan, if you have a bunch of Tang Zhuan Wukong copies, this could be good for you. His pursuits, definitely worth checking out. Young Chuan, too. If you have high resos on Young Chuan, this is worth checking out. Not the Flow, sorry, I'm talking about Wind. So let's jump into the Flow Espers here. See what you can use if you have Flow Espers. Now, for Flow Espers, you're just doing wave clear, so you shouldn't really get hit. You want to put your highest resos in Abilimon Espers again. So Flow Attune attack, 25%. You can use Donar after his buffs if you have high reso R6 Donar with some Divinates. He's good for wave clear, believe it or not. Gaius, obviously. Leora, obviously. Hilda, obviously, but she will be taking more turns than just like straight up bursty, because the units have to take turns for Hilda's damage to kick in, obviously. Intisar or Croquette's pretty good for wave clear, less so than the aforementioned Espers. But those are pretty much pretty good. Donar, I'm probably going to pop out and use maybe. Now, the last rune selection here is pretty, puts you in a pretty pickle. Allied Support Esper speed plus 25%. I am not going to be bothering with this because I know what my Espers can do. However, if you're on the newer to middle game side and you want to squeak out some EX++ or EX+, you can definitely try to use this, but I don't recommend it because you're going for as many waves cleared as possible with the minimum amount of turns. So that's why I'm leaning towards Allied Fight Esper speed plus 25%. However, we have to mention this top left rune here, Esper Enhancement. Allied Esper's Resonance Phase +1 during combat, or Allied Captain's Resonance Phase +2 during combat. This is a dilemma of a choice here, and let me try to break it down a little bit for you why. So let's say you have Zhuanpin, or even you want to use Feng Xun, the Trial Esper. You don't have your own copy. Allied Captain Resonance Phase +2 during combat. You would be using this for Zhuanpin and Feng Xun. Or let's say you already have Feng Xun R2 and you're going to put him as your captain, but you don't have Brewster R2 and you selected a different rune instead of Ahmed R2 or Brewster R2. You could do Allied Esper Resonance Phase +1 during combat, or if you want to use Young Chuan R1, you can use this for an extra R2. You have Raven or Leora or Zora or Wukong that need 1 resonance to get to that power spike level. We all know what I'm talking about, the resonance power spike. You use this one instead of the other one where the captain gets R2. But I give you both options on each. The good thing about this trial is that there's a bunch of combinations that the player base at large can try out. The bad thing is that trial equipment is the same for everyone. So I'll explain what that means. It's not like bad, but basically if you have resonances and abilimons the same as somebody else, the people with the higher divinates or resonance or abilimons will win, just because the fact that the trial equipment is pre-made for everybody. However, with that being said, not to be too negative, you can indeed manual gameplay the trial if you wanted to. Therefore, it opens up some strategic gameplay for people that want to rank higher on the leaderboard. Maybe your top 5, you know you can get top 1 by manually gameplaying it. The person top 1 looks like they're autoing. You can get in there and manual gameplay and use your S3s at the perfect time to save 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 turns or whatever. So it's not all doom and gloom. That's a plus side at least. But basically, other than the tips and tricks here at the top, there's not much more help I can give you. Each person's comp will differ based on your resonances and whatnot, and that goes into what I said, that the trials is a little bit more strategic than before. But so we're going to run a pretty decently standard comp here. I switched Sachiko's runes from Wind to Ocean Avatara, and Zhuanpin's runes from whatever they were on to Ocean Avatara. Leora is better than Gaius for this, specifically because she takes less turns to do what they both do. Obviously, they both nuke waves. So, but Leora takes less turns because she doesn't have to switch to God mode. So she takes two turns less each 1 turn that Gaius takes. So I'm going to put Raven in here, and I've selected the Resonance +2 captain ability, but I'm going to put Raven in here because the attack plus 30% captain ability, and yeah, pretty much standard stuff here. I don't have Feng Xun myself, so unfortunately I will be handicapped by that. Plus sides, if you do have Feng Xun, the Resonance and Divinates will obviously squeak you out some more points. But other than the tips and tricks that I gave you, there's nothing much more I could possibly give you. I could probably maybe try different comps and record it and tell you my experiences. I will be recording one comp because I haven't even myself got to EX++ yet. I know I could do it, but I had to make the video, of course, because that's what I do on this channel, is make guides for you. So Sachiko is pretty achievable. R0 Leora is pretty achievable. Trell Feng Xun's pretty achievable. The only thing that's not achievable really is obviously the Shimmer legendaries. R1 Zhuanpin does nothing different than R0 Zhuanpin. R1 Raven does nothing different than R0 Raven, besides for 10% damage on her ult or something. But we're using her for her passive, and her ult obviously is AoE, so we're using it for both. But let's jump into the actual recording of the fight. I won't bore you with more rambling. Alright guys, so I just did my EX++ run. It was all automatic gameplay. I did not manual it. I just wanted to see if I could do it automatically. I used OP Espers. Well, I used what I have available to me. I have Liling and Brewster both R6. So, of course, I selected the Inferno attuned ally attack plus 25%. And then I put Feng Xun on Harmony because the S3 is a lot. And I selected the +1 resonances. So it doesn't really do anything for me because I have R6, Liling, and Brewster, which are huge in itself. I won't undermine that. But it does give my Raven an extra rezo and Feng Xun an extra rezo. And Unas an extra rezo. You can replace Unas with Dahlia or Alice, but obviously Unas is Unas. Not that their kits are much different for what you're using him here. Alice obviously does an AP push, so you'd rather be sticking with Dahlia. And Dahlia gives attack and crit, and Unas only gives attack. So basically, from the start of the video, I want to emphasize here that these rune combinations do in fact rotate, so you can go ahead and hover over them already without going towards the tile that they're on. So it's less clicks here to look at these combinations, and obviously you want to pick these combinations for what you have. I used Brewster and Liling, which are both Inferno, so of course I would select the Inferno attuned ally attack plus 25%. But let's say, for example, you have a Gaius R3, R6, R2. You put a lot of time into Gaius, a lot of resources, divinates, whatever, Abilamon. And you have Gaius and Leora, and you want to use them, you use the flow attuned attack plus 25%. It's not rocket science. Obviously, this here at the end does matter a little bit. So if you're running Feng Xun Copium on Harmony, you could do Allied Support Espers plus 25%. Or if you're running on pure DPS Wave Clear, Allied Fighter Esper Speed plus 25% here. Obviously, it's, again, I will say it for like the third time, it's up to what combinations you have on your account, which is really nice. I like the this is like the most strategic gameplay that they've had in a while. Obviously, this style of trial is not new, but it's new in the sense that the Chinese players get to experience, and a lot of players that are joining for the Shimmer event get to experience, and it's a nice experience for me as well as an old player. It's pretty good. I like it. You can manual, of course. So if you're getting hitched on and you see it in your gameplay here, it's trial and error, obviously. So if you're getting hitched on your own gameplay and you see manual opportunities, like you use your S3 or S2 on a unit that's like already almost dead, there's like 1% left, and there's another unit that could be used, more useful to be used those abilities on. You could manual that to save a couple turns. Obviously, it's all about the turns. Less turns and more wave clears, so yeah. Anyways, I'll stop rambling. Hopefully, this gives you some tips and tricks and insights into completing the trial for the EX++ tracker. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe. Peace. Bye-bye. And subscribe. Peace.